Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jai Gauda Nitai, Gauda Nitai, Gauda Nitai, Jaya Gauda Nitai. Jai Radha Shama Sundaradha Shama Sundaradhi. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai go, Haribo, 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 Nitai go, Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki, Gau Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 7. Knowledge of the Absolute. We're at text 22. Yes? Yes, Bhagavad Gita is also Bhagavatam, the Lord's transcendental words. Knowledge of the Absolute, text 22. Tayā, śraddhayā, yuktas, tasyārādhanam, īhate, labhate ca tataḥ kāmān, mayaiva vihitān. Sataya śraddhayā yuktas, tasyārādhanam īhate, labhate ca tataḥ kāmān, mayaiva vihitān. Sataya śraddhayā yuktas, tasyārādhanam īhate, labhate ca tataḥ kāmān, mayaiva vihitān. śraddhayā yuktas tasyārādhanam īhate labhate tataḥ kāmān yuktas tasyārādhanam īhate labhate tataḥ kāmān vihitān īhate tataḥ kāmān tayā śraddhayā yuktas tasyārādhanam īhate labhate tataḥ kāmān mayaiva vihitān saha he tayā with that śraddhayā inspiration yuktaḥ endowed tasya of that demigod ārādhanam for the worship īhate he aspires labhate attains cha and tataḥ from that kāmān his desires mayā by me eva alone vihitān arranged he certainly tan those. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace by Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Responsively, endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. The demigods cannot award benedictions to their devotees without the permission of the Supreme Lord. The living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the demigods do not forget. So the worship of demigods and achievement of desired results are due not to the demigods, but to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by arrangement. The less intelligent living entity does not know this, and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit. But the pure devotee, who is fit, however, is not a sign of a pure devotee. A living entity goes to the demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. This happens when something undue is desired by the living entity and the Lord himself does not fulfill the desire. In the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, it is said that one who worships the Supreme Lord and at the same time desires material enjoyment is contradictory in his desires. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform, because worship of a demigod is material and devotional service to the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual. For the living entity who desires to return to Godhead, material desires are impediments. A pure devotee of the Lord is therefore not awarded the material benefits desired by less intelligent living entities, who therefore prefer to worship demigods of the material world rather than engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnanam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadeshatarane. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires, but in actuality these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So we're hearing Lord Krishna explaining that there are many types of people: those who are inquisitive, those who are in distress, those who are in need of money, those who are searching for knowledge of the absolute. Bhagavad Gita, although delivered to Arjuna 5,000 years ago, Krishna came to reestablish religious principles and to annihilate all the miscreants. We know in Krishna book this Pundraka was thinking himself to be God himself, and his foolish followers were also worshiping him. Yes, you are God. So he had all the insignias or symbols of the chakra and the club and Kaustuba jewel, and he dared to even challenge Krishna to a fight, and everyone was laughing when this Pundraka was imitating. But this is the nature in this material world, this daivihesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamiva ye prapajante mayame tang tarantite. This divine energy of Krishna, very difficult to overcome. Everyone is bewildered by the modes of nature, even the top demigods. So we're not thinking that, oh, that's for just the less intelligent or bewildered. No, even those who claim to be scientists or philosophers, religionists, teachers, educators, leaders of society, unless one is hearing the absolute truth from the Guru Parampara, naturally we have a tendency, because of our desires to enjoy this material world, to concoct different ideas. If it wasn't for the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, many people were thinking the Darwin theory, or this philosopher or that philosopher. Shankaracharya presented that yes, there's a person, but beyond the person is the void, the impersonal. So many philosophies are there. But this particular verse is speaking of those who are desirous to achieve something, and they worship the different demigods to get their goals. I remember when President Trump became president, there was a picture of an Indian man worshiping Trump, saying that he's a leader of a country, he's like a representative of God. So by worshiping the leader, one can get his wealth and health and riches and many things. Because most people, unfortunately, 99.9% of everyone is enamored by this daivi hesha guna mayi. We all are bewildered. Although we're hearing daily, we're not the material body, we're spirit soul, and that although we're hearing, we're seeing, we're tasting, we're utilizing this body, this machinery for gratification. The eyes want to see something beautiful, you want to touch, you want to smell, you want to taste. The tongue is very, very powerful. We're all trying to have different experiences in life. And so, as we grow from childhood, from playing, then naturally we're attracted, because this desire to enjoy this material world is combined by the male and female connection. And then we think that if I work very, very hard, diligently with my intelligence, then so many results will come. Just like Krishna was speaking the karma amongst the philosophy to Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd men, they were worshipping Lord Indra. And traditionally, they were worshipping Lord Indra because this was the heritage, Generally, you're born in a certain family, they have a certain religion that they're following, whether one is Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Jewish, or whatever it might be. One identifies with his family, one identifies with his culture, religion, and nation. But this is a temporary situation, because this body is one of many millions or billions of bodies. And out of millions and millions of people, some may endeavor for what is knowledge of the absolute truth. What is, who am I? Who is God? What is this world really all about? And having that inquisitiveness, having that desire to know more, Krishna sitting in our heart, Paramatma, he sees, he's with each and every one of us. Not that he's only with the great devotees, he's only with Narada Muni and Arjuna and Yudhishthira. Who am I? I'm just an insignificant little creature wandering around in Kali Yuga. Krishna, because variety, Krishna expands himself, not only one universe, but millions, billions, trillions of universes with unlimited planets and unlimited activities and pastimes. They say that scientists may be able to count the atoms or the particles of sand, but they'll never come close to understanding the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord, the pastimes of the Lord. So obviously any intelligent person can understand that there's a creator. How's everything functioning? How's everything working in this world? And he's telling in the Vedic literatures, you want wealth? You worship like this. You want a good wife? You worship Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. If you want health, you worship the sun god. He'll give you health, strength, intelligence. And people are thinking that, this is the goal. That I have a miracle tonic that'll give you much more intelligence and give you longevity and strength. This is what everyone's, they're buying into this whole industry of health and wealth, thinking that my family is good, I have a good bank account, I don't need God. I can buy my bread. I can make my own bread. Why should I pray to God for anything? But that's less intelligent, because if one is desirous or if one is suffering in this material world, then that suffering, all these kids are coming in. Hare Krishna. Then that suffering of the materialist is simply going to complicate his whole life even more. Because if we're acting in this world in a way that's not directed towards making us ultimate solution to the problems of life, and what are the problems of life? birth, old age, disease, and death. When you're young and vibrant, you don't care so much about old age, disease, and death. But human life is meant to understand and contemplate the higher values of life. And the higher values of life are that we're Sat Chit Ananda, we're eternal, ever-existing and undying. So we should put our energy to hearing about and worshiping that Supreme Person who can give us that ultimate goal. Because if we're worshiping demigods, goals, even though we may have some wealth, what happens when you leave that body? The wealth remains here, and you go somewhere else. Yang vapi smaran bhavam tyajat yante kalevaram. Whatever state of being one is at the time of death, that state he'll attain without fail. So all our activities in this life are forming our consciousness. You know, Prabhupada says that everybody commits sinful activities. Just by drinking water, so many germs. Walking on the street, you're killing so many ants and insects. And just by eating cooking the food, and so many ways of committing sinful activities. And these sinful activities are accumulating. You think, well, that's pretty harsh. I mean, we should be forgiven because we don't know we're doing these things. But by being in this prison house of material life, by being here in this encaged, not only in the prison house, but in this material body, then we're forced to suffer. Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avartano arjuna. From the highest planet down to the lowest, all are places of misery. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. You may think, no, I'm happy. I have nice sons and daughters. My family, they're very pious, you know. We do our pujas, we go to church or temple. That's good. This is auspicious that, but now we need to utilize the little time that we have left for worshiping Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. Vyavasayatmika, this fixed determination that I want to achieve this goal. Just imagine the determination of Dhruva Maharaj. He was so frustrated by his stepmother rejecting his, wanting to go on the lap of his father as king. This Krishna Bhakti, as given by Srila Prabhupada, meaning come and see the deities and appreciate that the Lord is present. He's present everywhere. He's present in every atom. But we're not that spiritually advanced to appreciate the Lord in every single atom. Of course, a Brahmana, he understands that within the dog, within the elephant, within the human being, nothing will grow. You know, a baby may come, if it comes out dead, you think, oh, how did that happen? Oh, something is missing. What's missing? Put that chemical back in or add some material formula. They cannot do, because without that spirit soul, the eternal spark, which is part of Krishna, there's no life. The consciousness is life. And Krishna is expanding himself unlimitedly. And he's guiding each and every one of us, but he's not interfering with our independence. He knows what we really want. But he's saying, but look at if you follow these directions, your desires will change. You'll see the temporal nature of this world, the uselessness of associating with persons who are only after materialistic pursuits, sense gratification, money, control, power. But our society is recognizing Bhoktarang Jagatapasang Sarvaloka Maheswaram Suhridang Sarabhutanam Gyatma Mang Shanti Mrishchati. You want to become shanti, peaceful. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Everything belongs to Krishna. So, Maheshwaram, Suhridam Sarabhutanam. He's a friend of every living entity. He's guiding everyone. So where this knowledge came from is coming from Krishna himself. The Guru Parampara is the great acharyas which have been sent here to reclaim all of us conditioned souls who are bewildered and running blind, aimlessly in this world, looking for that happiness. Where is that ultimate shanti, that peace and satisfaction? Although, especially today, it's very beautiful. The sun is shining. You hear the birds, and we can just imagine how Vrindavan was with the peacocks cooing and the parrots flying around in the nice breezes, so many flowers, and in the early days. Kali Yuga has really progressed tremendously, because previously there was no factories and there was no office buildings of 100 stories, and people, not only did they have a house, but they needed some land to grow the food. Otherwise, how do you live? It's not that you're going to go to the local supermarket and pick it all up. This is all, this industry and technology and modernization. People are thinking that, oh, by science, by endeavoring in a scientific way, by just following our leaders, we'll be happy. But now they made so many cars, and Prabhupada said, how many accidents are there on the road? Thousands, tens of thousands. And so much suffering is in the world. We can see it all around us. But that mayā, that illusion, makes us feel content, whatever position we find ourselves in. The famous story of how Indra is used a lot for realizations. And with a hog family and the things that hogs eat. And when Lord Brahma said, okay, enough of this suffering in this material world, come back to your kingdom, the heavenly planets. Who doesn't want to go to the heavenly planets? Everyone is looking to go to the heavenly planets. But Indra said, in the form of a hog, no, I have my family, I have my responsibilities, my little piglets, and I have so much good food every night. I'm eating the stools, and I'm waiting early in the morning. It's a nice hot meal. So this is the obnoxious nature of this world, that even though we're embarrassed, like when Krishna was trying to play a joke on Rukmini, he was saying that I'm really not very qualified. I only I think you should have married some of these more qualified people like Shishupal or these other princes who came for your hand. And in so many ways he was giving various arguments, thinking that Rukmini would just get angry, and he wanted to see this beautiful angry mood of Rukmini. But she took it all very seriously, that when he was saying that I'm really not interested in family life. And then anyways, very, very philosophically they discussed among themselves. But Rukmini was just appreciating Krishna. I forgot actually the point of that analogy. So Rukmini and Krishna were actually talking about the temporal nature of this material world, but Krishna is the supreme person, and that supreme person, he has a relationship with each and every one of us. When Narada Muni went to visit all the different palaces of Krishna in Dwarka, he saw Krishna performing all these activities in a loving way with each and every one of his wives. And even in the rasa dance, everyone thought, he's just with me. And each of the queens thought, oh, he's so attached just to me. He's just always with me. So Krishna, even though there's unlimited living entities, he has time, and he's wanting to attract us again by his pastimes. This is why he appeared in this world. paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, to reestablish religious principles and to annihilate those who are deviant. But in the prison house is full of criminals. All of us are here, and this life is very valuable. Human form of life is actually meant for reawakening our love for Krishna. And that love for Krishna can be awakened if we follow with enthusiasm and determination. This is Rupa Goswami's instructions, utsahan, nishchayat, dharyat, tat karma pravartanat. If someone is interested in something and enthusiastic and wants to achieve it, he puts all his mind, his energy behind it. If you're an artist, you want to paint beautifully. If you're a musician, you want to play the instrument or sing in such a way but you need to apply yourself. So in Krishna gives us the intelligence how to do that. And the association of the devotees is the most valuable asset. The sadhu sangha, this association means of those persons who are pursuing Krishna consciousness, who are trying to put an end to the suffering of material life. It's not by worshiping Lord Brahma or Lord Indra or Chandra or Lord Shiva, because Krishna says that ultimately I'm the ultimate beneficiary. Although demigods may award certain benedictions to their followers, and those who follow very closely the demigods, they go to their planets. They can achieve temporary goals. And well, why does Krishna give that? Why doesn't Krishna awaken us to the highest goal? It's there. Krishna's giving it in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's giving it in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna comes after people in this material world did not take to devotional or bhakti, even after speaking Bhagavad Gita. He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, oh, in Kali Yuga, people are short-lived. They easily want to fight about any little disturbance, and their ability for spiritual development is not that strong. So in Kali Yuga, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalua nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. This is our worship. We're worshiping the holy name by chanting Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody is looking for something. When I was young, I was seeing, I played in a rock and roll band, but at the same time I was feeling that there must be something more to life. I was following Bhagavad Gita as it is through Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. That was only like an impersonalist. Everybody wants to take advantage of the Bhagavad Gita to promote their philosophy or their understanding. So even though Prabhupada was asked by a nice lady that, what Bhagavad Gita should I read? He says, well, there are many, many Bhagavad Gitas, but most of them, people have their own personal interpretations. So after seeing in the devotees and receiving Bhagavad Gita as it is, then this Bhagavad Gita actually, as we heard this morning, is very, very special, is transcendental, is Krishna manifested in the form of guiding us. And we should take the guidance of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada made a society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, so that we can have that association. We can actually worship the deities, dress the deities, cook for the deities. All the activities, just like Ambarish Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. We're worshiping the deities, we're cleansing the temple, we're having festivals, we're hearing Bhagavatam, we're hearing Bhagavad Gita, in the association of devotees. All these are like our strength and our energy. And when the mind is going to give trouble, akama sarvo kamova moksha kama udaradi tivarena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Even though one may have so many desires still, you think, well, we're trying to become a devotee, but so many desires are there, and so many distractions are there. Yes, they will be there. Desire does not go away. But by this cleansing process, by the ceto darpana marjanam, that okay, I'm not tasting the holy name, but still I'm chanting, I'm taking my medicine, as my Guru Maharaj is instructing, so I'm chanting. And even hearing philosophy, oh, it's so boring, same philosophy. But by hearing regularly an association of devotees, it has tremendous effect. And our desires will change. And we'll actually have a distaste for this materialistic lifestyle. We're not going to be interested in simply going out and talking nonsense and doing nonsense, but we're inspired by hearing and chanting. We're inspired by hearing about the Lord and serving devotees. So it's a change of heart. And this change of heart will actually give us the opportunity that at the time, as we're approaching, the body is going to stop working at some point, obviously, to be in the association of devotees and to keep hearing and chanting. And Krishna, he makes the arrangements. He makes proper arrangements. I remember Sudama Maharaj, he went away for quite some time. I was in New Dwarka in 1993, 94. And Sudama, he had some kind of cancer, and he came back, and devotees made all arrangements. And even though he went away for quite some time, Srila Prabhupada gave full protection, and he left surrounded by devotees, hearing the holy name. There are many instances like that. So when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna won't let us go, even though we sometimes get bewildered and the mind gets thinking, oh, so many troubles in this society, let me leave this society, or let me just pursue some ordinary lifestyle. This society has the essence. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. This is the essence. Prabhupada's translations and purports are his realizations and Krishna speaking through him to keep guiding us and answering all our questions about everything. Everything is discussed as proper family life, whether you're brahmachari, whether you're grihastha, from whatever background you may come, bringing us to the transcendental platform. This is why we're emphasizing the kirtan, especially our Guru Puja kirtan. We have Lord Chaitanya, when he would get together with all the devotees, they would just be chanting and dancing. And this is what the Krishna consciousness movement is all about, that it's full of enthusiasm and singing, dancing, chanting, and Krishna's present. And we'll realize our realizations will become more and more vivid as we keep following this process of sadhana bhakti. Then will come anartha nivritti. Due to faith, we associate with devotees, sadhu sangha, and then by following this process of sadhana bhakti, anartha nivritti, all the desires go away, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti syat, then we actually experience a higher flavor, parang drishtva nivartate. It's not artificial. We're not jumping, thinking, oh, I'm experiencing the bhava of the cowherd boys or the gopis. But this is available, and Krishna can make all arrangements for us. So we don't need to worship demigods or have a separate worship other than Krishna. Ekale Ishvar Krishna Arsa Britya. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord, and everyone else is servant. And we are servants of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada's life and example and teachings are our guide. Krishna Balaram Mandir is our shelter. Devotees Association is our shelter. And hearing with enthusiasm and serving, wanting to do this preaching work, for giving others shelter, titikshava karunika suhrida sarvadehanam, ajata shatrava santa sadhava sadhabhushana. Real sadhu, he's very tolerant, he's merciful. He wants to give this message of Krishna consciousness to others, like the 6 Goswamis. They came from aristocratic families, they came as powerful leaders of society, aristocratic, but they gave up that lifestyle, and they were drinking the Krishna Kirtana, the nectar of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. And just by being in their association, one was inspired and motivated towards the spiritual life. No interest in material life, only interested in Krishna consciousness. So whatever time we have left in this life, we should mold our life around Krishna. Increase the chanting, increase the hearing, and increase the service to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Then Krishna, he will give us full clarity. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanavishto matat smitra jnanam apohanam cha. He's in our heart. Krishna knows our desires, and Krishna will help us by giving us the intelligence to avoid the pitfalls, to avoid those things which cause us to forget Krishna. And he'll help us to stay in the association of devotees. And someday we'll increase our desire to hear more about Krishna, and our chanting will get sweeter and sweeter. Even Lord Chaitanya was saying that he had, all your names are so powerful, everything is available in your holy name, but I have no desire for the chanting. But that's just to set the example. The devotees were relishing chanting. We're hearing today how the different kirtaniyas, Vishnujan Swami and Sachinandana and different Kirtan is our life, and by hearing and chanting in the association of devotees are guaranteed going back home, back to the spiritual world. Bhaktyamama vijanati yavanyas chasmi tatpataha. By bhakti, by devotional service only, can we realize Krishna. And that's available in the form of Bhagavad Gita and devotee association. Bhagavad Gita as it is, ki jai. Any question, comments? We have a few minutes. Sanjeev, nothing?
This is just generally in the 11th canto, something I was reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Shri Krishna is telling Uddhav on the process of deity worship. And I was surprised when Lord Shri Krishna says, worship my four-arm deity form of 4 arms, rather than the 2-arm form. And it's also mentioned worshipping Durga and Ganesh. Those 2 names are mentioned. What's your comments, your thoughts on that?
Well, just like the gopis were worshipping Katyayani, but they just wanted Krishna, and different the Lord is available. It's still the Supreme Lord, and it depends on the context or where the devotee is in his development. Not everyone has that. I know that, who was that, Murari Gupta, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a Ram Bhakta. He was worshipping Lord Ram, very devoted to Lord Ram. And although he tried so hard to be a Krishna Bhakta, he couldn't leave his worship to Lord Ram. So, worshipping the four-armed form of the Lord, still worship of the Lord, and if that's what it takes to get us to that platform, then other revelations may come. But at least no demigods or worshipping demigods, they're temporary. All the different worship that goes on besides the Supreme Lord is temporary. So whether one is worshipping, Lord Vamanadev or Vishnu, four-armed Vishnu form, like in the yogis who meditate in the heart, they meditate on the Paramatma, four-armed form. So the Lord is attracting us according to the individual's state of mind and or desires. I don't know exactly in the 11th canto, Uddhava's, although he's a very intimate, close associate, and even Lord Krishna would worship himself, in the morning, just to set the proper example how to worship and how to perform the different yagyas. But the most important thing is that we worship Krishna, although we may not be on that level of worshiping Krishna in his beautiful two-armed form. The Lord has unlimited forms, and we have unlimited desires and unlimited, we're all very complex personalities. So if that's what it takes to put us back on the path of different Giriraj, that's the Supreme Lord, but we might have a different idea of the Lord is manifest, but it's still Krishna. Actually, variety is the spice. Any other questions? Such a Shanti audience. You've all achieved the tranquility. It's okay. It's good to come together and just regularly hearing about the importance of taking up devotional service, because Maya is always trying to convince us that no, you have duties, you have responsibility, you have no time for this. I see even my own sons, they're very busy, although they like devotees and they participate in programs, but they're so busy. I said, did you listen to the recording? No, yeah, I'm going to listen to it, But we're always just so preoccupied with life. And life means me, my family members, my close, my community, my nation, it's all me and I. But that's all finished. Today I'm the husband of so-and-so, or the wife of so-and-so, or the son or daughter or the father of. But all these relationships, as described, like the straw bunches together in the river for some time and then again hits the rock and is dispersed in every which way. We have a relationship with every living entity. We're all brothers and sisters because Krishna is the father of everyone. And sometimes, due to Maya's influence, we identify, but this is my family and this is very, very important. It is. The Lord Chaitanya expressed his love, deep love and affection. But we should actually see that Krishna consciousness goes beyond this temporary, tiny existence. And so we should mold our life in that way for more hearing, chanting. And a devotee, he's loving everyone. You know, he's not just simply a fanatic that just is hateful and or rejects his family. But we keep trying. We keep trying to encourage. And I know that there's appreciation, even though one might not be on that platform of surrender or the intensity of devotional service. But if we lovingly encourage and do set a good example ourselves, then Krishna, he also affects others so they can also be attracted to Krishna consciousness. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.